We're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's July 21st here in Seoul. I am Shin Yeun, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Choi Ji-hee.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. And Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
All right, now both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news stories that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Last month, a sixth grader reportedly assaulted his teacher so badly that she was in hospital for 3 weeks. He allegedly punched and kicked his teacher for telling him to go to counseling class instead of PE. This teacher asked nationwide teacher groups and the Seoul Union to write petitions so that the Education Ministry takes swift action against the student. So far, a total of 1,800 petitions have been filed. Officials decided to transfer the student to a different school. Over the past 3 years, the Anti-Corruption and Civil Rights Commission found a total of 418,535 complaints about poor construction have been filed by apartment residents. The number of these complaints in June alone jumped by 12% compared to last month. And this news has stirred more concern as we've recently seen a lot of damage from torrential rain and flooding. Speaking of rain, rescue workers on Wednesday found the body of a Marine who went missing during a search and rescue operation for people missing in the heavy monsoon rains and landslides. He had been swept away by a stream in Yecheon County in Gyeongsangbuk-do Province on Tuesday. Now, the Marine Corps has apologized to his bereaved family and said it has opened investigations to find who's responsible and what was lacking in terms of safety protocol. The Marine's death has enraged the public here in South Korea as we saw yet another young man lose his life on the line of duty. Now, our condolences to this man. What did you think about this upsetting news, Walter?
Well, I guess, like you said, what else is there to say about condolences to the family? I mean, this is a very dangerous season for us.
Yeah.
So we've got the monsoon season, therefore there's a lot of flash flooding. So people need to take more care when going outside, especially when it's raining so hard. I mean, it's not just the city as we saw last year, but the countryside deals with landslides, and this can cause, many of the rescue teams to go out and try and rescue the people. So, when it gets to this sort of weather, please stay inside and be as safe as possible. But again, condolences to the family.
Yeah, and also I think the public was outraged because we could have been better prepared. We always know that the summer is one of the wettest seasons here in Korea, monsoon, flooding, torrential rain. So hopefully we could have been better prepared to not see another young man lose his life on duty. Don't you think, Ji-hee?
Exactly. First of all, my deep condolences to the family as well. I feel very heavy-hearted to hear all these tragic accidents that occur, especially during a rescue operation.
Right.
It's very ironic because they're trying to save lives and they're unable to save their own life, which is very tragic. And apparently he wasn't wearing a life vest. I know it was a landslide rescue, but then the stream was what swept him away. And we've talked about this earlier in one of our previous shows, how industrial accidents occur because people don't abide by the safety guidelines or the safety rules. So I really hope that especially during these rescue operations, we really keep the safety regulations and make sure that we don't push the workers too hard.
And it really upsets me that every single time things like this happen, we say we could have prevented it. But why do we always say that after something happens?
Exactly.
Hopefully we'll see more precautionary measures be held from now on. And that was our news feed for this Friday. We're now going to change up the atmosphere a bit because it is a Friday today, which means it's time for another episode of Visit Seoul 2023. And what's more important than food when you're traveling? Today we're going to be talking about healthy dishes you can have while you're spending your summer here in Korea, especially since South Korea has the so-called 삼복 heat. It refers to the 3 hottest periods of the year. There's 초복, 중복, and 말복, which directly translated to is beginning, middle, and end. And today is 중복. 초복 was a few days ago on July 11th. And Chi, can you tell us a bit more about the origins of 삼복 and what type of food we have on these days?
Sure. So like you said, Korea has a very unique summer culture. We have the 3 복날, and these refer to the 초복, 중복, and 말복. And like you said, literally translated, they're the first, second, and third dog days. And that's because the 복 is a Chinese character, and you can see like a image of a dog lying down submissively under the very scorching heat during the summer. So we refer to that as the 봉날. And people here in the country during the 3 봉nals, they eat healthy foods to revive their stamina, and they even go visit valleys or mountains to escape the scorching heat of the summer. And we'll introduce the different healthy foods that we enjoy here in the country.
We definitely will. Our panelists, and including myself, will be introducing some popular dishes you can have during these hanbok days. But we also asked our viewers whether they're familiar with any jungbok dishes or healthy food in Korea. Here's what 3 of them had to say. Take a look at the screen. Now, Nuredin says samgyetang, kimchi, and beef japchae. The japchae noodles are made from sweet potatoes instead of wheat. Giselle said kimchi and samgyetang are both great. For the hot summer, I enjoy naengmyeon and kongbuksu. They're very refreshing. I totally feel you. And Leon Teo said the 보양식 I like is samgyetang, which is ginseng chicken soup. Although I am aware of other 보양식 like 장어구이, grilled eel, and jeonbokjuk, abalone rice porridge, or kongbuksu. Now, our viewers have a lot of the dishes that we'll be introducing to you guys today. So as we mentioned, we're going to be introducing 3 types of healthy dishes to you guys. And the first might startle you because it's made from mud loaches. In Korean, it's called Chueotang. Walter, would you like to take this one?
Yes, well, there isn't any mud in the food, if that's what we want to talk about first. It's just the loach. They do clean them quite well. And yes, if we take a look at the screen, you'll see our little adventure that we had most recently.
All right, so today we came to eat mud loach stew. In Korean, it's Chueotang. And Jihee, have you ever tried it before?
Oh, yes, I did. It's actually one of my favorite foods.
Well, what about you, Walter? Have you ever tried Chueotang?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's my first time too. Then without further ado, let's go in.
이게 왜 보양식이에요? 그냥 너무 궁금해가지고. 고단백, 고칼슘에
고단백, 고칼슘인가?
네.
그 얘는 그럼 그냥 진짜 추워요?
네, 미끄러져.
Oh, I don't know why I can't do it. Oh, so nice. How is it? It's really good.
It's actually really good.
It's really nice.
Is it nice? It's nice?
It's actually quite nice.
So we just had our chueotang. It was Walter and my first try. What did you think about it, Walter?
I thought it was really good. I think people should try it while they're here.
It was pretty good. I mean, it was like anchovy for me. Definitely feel a lot healthier.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to spend a really healthy summer here in Korea, make sure to try chueotang. It's apparently really high in calcium, a lot of protein, and it's one of the 보양식s that we'll be introducing to you today.
Yeah, so I mean, we saw by the comments a lot of people were talking about very similar healthy foods here in Korea, but I'm sure that they haven't tried that before, the loach stew or even the deep fried loaches as well. So it still surprises me from time to time. You know, I was born here but grew up in Australia where everything is very plain at the time. But Korea, we love to eat all parts of the animal. We also love to eat all types of seafood as well. So this one was a surprise to me because I only usually see loaches in like a documentary where they are out of the water and they're trying to get to the water and they're all covered in mud. But like I said, there is no mud in. I hope there wasn't any mud in our nice soup. But yes, it was a lot tastier than I expected. I didn't know what to expect going in, but it was kind of crunchy because I had the full fish one because someone lovely ordered it for me because there's 2 kinds, right? There's a grinded one and there's the full fish one. And I had the full fish ones that they have, and there was a crunchy bone texture, which I understand people might not like. However, once you get past that, it's fine. So I think it was quite good. So you should try it out.
And I was the lovely person that ordered the full loach stew for Walter. I wanted you to try it out, Walter.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't want to try it.
But I eventually ended up trying it, and it was a bit difficult for me because it was my first time ever having chueotang, and a lot of my friends said they didn't know what chueotang was made of. That's why they could have it in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if you think about the image of a mud loach inside your food, even though it's grounded, you can have that visual in your head, right?
True.
So I wasn't too happy. I was very hesitant to try it out at first. And then when I tried the one without the grounded one, like the whole fish, it was very slippery.
Yeah.
it wasn't easy. But then, as you mentioned, Chihi, in our little video, you did feel invigorated and healthy, right?
I did. I mean, I enjoy this dish actually during the summer times, and I like the grounded one because I can't feel the whole fish. And I tried the whole fish for the first time when we were together in the restaurant, but it really tasted like anchovy for me, and I did feel invigorated. But I don't think it's just the Chueotang dish I had, because recently I've been having the eel, and I've had the samgyetang, which is the next food that I'm going to introduce.
You're really enjoying this humble taste here in Korea. And as you briefly mentioned, there's grilled eel, another savory healthy dish. Walter, I hear that it's actually scientifically proven that if you have grilled eel, you'll feel invigorated, right?
Yeah, that's correct. So in Korea, it's a very tasty dish as well. It's cooked not like maybe you'll see in a Japanese restaurant or other places in the world, but it's Korean barbecue style, so like your pork belly that you would grill. So let's take a look at the screen and we'll show you. And this is actually a very good photographer who filmed this as well. And as you can see, it's more grilled over a fire rather than boiled like it was for the Chueotang. And yes, the host is there,
the photographer
enjoying
there,
it. But yes, eel has had great benefits. It's really high in calcium. It's good for our bones, much like the loach. It can also help reduce the risk of diabetes and arthritis as well. So I think many countries like Australia and the US, they get kind of cringy, or they really don't like the look of these styles of food. But, you know, the UK, they have eel and jelly as well. So I think for any Aussies out there or any Americans, you definitely go out of your comfort zone and try eel, because it's very delicious.
Grilled eel is really nice. If you like pork belly, there's a very high chance you'll like 장어구이 as well, because it's similar, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And as you can see in the video, I had it over the weekend, and I still feel quite healthy. I don't know if that's placebo because everyone's telling me that you're supposed to feel healthy, but I feel really strong.
I don't think it's placebo, because I had it over the weekend as well. I feel invigorated.
And not only did you have grilled eel, but you also had samgyetang. So why don't you introduce us to what samgyetang is about then?
Sure. So let's take a look at the screen first to see how samgyetang looks like. And it's one of the most popular dishes here in the country during the Bongnal days. And as you see, there's the chicken in the soup, and we also include ginseng, jujube, and garlic, all the healthy stuff inside it. And it's enjoyed by many different generations here in the country. And there are different types of these samgyetang as well. And other than this hot soup, though, we also have, of course, it's one of the other very popular dishes in the country. You know what it is. Yes, fried chicken.
Yes.
Yes, we have it with beer as well, not just the chicken itself. But as you see, we have it with beer, and this is the Daegu Chimek Festival. And Chimek is often appearing in the different Korean dramas as well. So I'm sure a lot of foreigners are very familiar with the concept, the combination of fried chicken and 맥주 or beer as well. And they're both very much enjoyed by the young people in the country, as you see in the video.
Yeah, I know chimek is a very popular dish among a lot of youngsters here in Korea. I personally love chimek, especially drinking it at night, right in front of the river, like Han River or Cheonggyecheon Stream. But also, I'm quite curious as to whether the younger generation is as avid for samgyetang as much as they are for chimek.
Well, if you take a look at the screen once again, there's a chart. It was a survey to see what kind of foods that the younger generation in the country enjoy during summer. And actually, samgyetang was the most popular dish that was chosen by the young people in the country. And second on the list is fried chicken. I mean, you may wonder why we have that hot soup, such as samgyetang, during a hot summer, right?
Yeah.
But in Korea, we have the concept called which means to fight the heat with more heat. And this may be very unfamiliar with many of the foreigners, but hearty soups are believed to balance the body's temperature and help us regain energy and even relieve exhaustion and keep ourselves very healthy. And for some of the best samgyetang dishes, I recommend you go to Insadong, Myeongdong, or Jongno. And like I said, the second on the list was fried chicken. It's mostly enjoyed by the younger generation. region. And Korea is very famous for, of course, this last dish as well on the chart, which Yeon will talk about.
Which I will, but before I introduce you guys, the very last dish, Walter, did you also like eating samgyetang?
I love eating samgyetang. It's one of my favorite foods to eat, but I wouldn't eat it every day because it's just full of calories. For people who don't know, it's a full chicken in the bowl of soup, so that's a lot of calories. It's like a daily calorie thing. But I find it interesting that we are talking about healthy food as well, and fried chicken is second on the list with beer.
Yeah.
We both know that
Healthy
they aren't
food.
healthy, they're good foods. But
Hey, as long as it makes you happy, it could be healthy. I'm
Yeah.
all for chimik. Let's add that into the list of the healthy, savory dishes you can have in Korea during the summer. Now, I would like to introduce you guys to the last healthy dish that I would love for you guys to try once you're in Korea in the summer. It's none other than Hanu beef, and Hanu is one of the 4 native breeds of Korean cattle. It's also known as the Wagyu beef of Korea, and the best Hanu cattle is usually raised in the Hwangseong-gun County of Gangwon-do Province. It can be grilled, sometimes even eaten raw like tartar, or as steak cuts. That's personally my favorite. And to have this quite expensive dish at a more affordable price, you can actually try visiting Majangdong in Songdo-gu district here in Seoul. There they have the largest meat market in Korea. Butchers sell fresh meat arriving every hour from all over the country. And thanks to that, prices are up to 30% cheaper than what you can find at franchise supermarkets. And I personally love having Hanu on my birthday because it's not that affordable. You can't go every day to have it. And as much as it's invigorating, it's very savory too. Do you like Hanu, Walter?
Of course I do. Steak is my favorite meat of all, and Hanu, like you said, is a real treat, but we can't eat it every day for people like you and I. To eat it every day would be overly expensive.
Because we don't even eat small portions. We eat a lot too.
We eat a lot, right? Sometimes the bill is far too high for me to afford, but yes, I love the way we cook it here in Korea. Usually if you go to Western countries, it's either your big steak, which is still very nice, but we cut it down to like little portions, and it just melts in your mouth, and you enjoy the moment. I love it.
For sure. What about you, Jihee?
I love Hanu, just like Walter said. I like the little thin slices a lot, but they're too expensive. Yes.
I wish they could make better use of it. Like, have you ever been to Majangdong Market?
Oh no.
What
Are they
about you,
cheaper
Walter?
there?
Yeah, I've been there a few
Oh.
times, and it's much cheap, and it's really good because they have the butcher is on the ground floor and the restaurant's in the top floor.
Oh, I see.
So usually what you do is you bargain with the lady or the butcher behind the counter, and then they take you up to the restaurant, and then you cook it straight there, so it's so fresh.
Right, and today we've introduced you guys to 3 dishes that we personally think, and they're quite traditionally known as invigorating healthy foods you can have during the hottest times of the summer here in Korea. But also, apart from these these dishes, there's so many other types of foods that you can try. So before we end off, why don't you guys share your own tips? It doesn't have to be eartier. It could be like something completely new as to how you spend summer here in Korea and what types of food you guys have, starting with you, Walter.
Well, one of my favorite foods to eat during the summer is the cold buckwheat noodles, or the mulnaengmyeon here in Korea. Bibimbap is also very popular. I don't know why I like the mulnaengmyeon better, but yes.
Hey, I like bibimbap.
Really? I like the mulnaengmyeon better because I like slurping the. It's like good mulnaengmyeon has like the icy kind of broth, right?
Yeah.
If it's not icy, then it's not good. I don't think. In my opinion.
Okay, that's a good tip.
Yeah. So it's got to be really cold, and you got to put some mustard in it, and also I think it's vinegar as well. But yeah, it's really tasty. That's if you just want something refreshing rather than something hot, if you're not used to eating hot food on a hot day like here in Korea. So that is my #1 pick. Definitely try that out. There's some great restaurants that sell it.
What about you, Chi? Any recommendations?
Right, if you're not a big fan of ERTR, how we fight heat with more heat. Yes, other than the cold buckwheat noodles, I would also like to recommend kongguksu, which is a noodles in soybean soup. I love it too. And I was surprised that Giselle and Leon mentioned them in their comments. They already know about it, but for those of you who haven't tried it, please do try it either with salt or sugar. And there's also the pink bingsu shaved ice.
Bingsu, yeah.
Korean shaved ice as dessert. And also try chamue, which is the Korean melon. It's really good. It's yellow and tiny.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a very famous or popular summer fruit. And also maybe go to the movies for a horror movie.
That's a good idea.
Because a chill down the spine is another way of maybe fighting the heat in the summer.
You can cool yourself down. And before I let you guys go, how would you recommend to your international friends coming to Korea to look for the best restaurants here in Seoul?
I would have to agree with Chihi that Jongno is the best area for the best restaurants in Seoul, in my opinion, because there's such a variety there. As we talked about last week, there's also like a hip area.
Yeah, hipjiro.
Hipjiro. So there are so many places. There's the traditional market as well. If you want to try real authentic Korean, you have to go to those markets because they sell, you know, from like sundae as well as kimbap, all different kinds of traditional foods. I mean, they don't have to be always healthy, of course. We are talking about healthy food today, but we also talked about fried chicken and beer. So let's talk about other things as well. Traditional Korean food, you have to try it whether it looks strange or not. I think, yeah, give it a go.
Give it a go as long as you're in Korea. When will you ever try it again? So try it out. What about you, Chihi?
Well, I'd say I mentioned samgyetang. You should go to Myeongdong, Insadong, and Jongno.
Yeah.
But with fried chicken, the Suwon Street is very popular.
really?
Other than Seoul, yes, in Suwon. And also for kongguksu, the best kongguksu I had was in Jeonju.
Jeonju.
Yes,
Wow.
and they add sugar in it. I usually have it with salt, but sugar in those soybean noodle soup was really good.
Yeah,
so I
so-
recommend you go to Jeonju and Suwon as well.
Though our Friday episodes, it's Visit Seoul 2023, there's just so many different restaurants around the nation you can go to. And thankfully, because we have such good public transport like the KTX, different trains, even planes, you can go around and try different food. And one recommendation I would like to give you guys is ask people on the street. They would be more than happy to share their list of matjib or like hottest restaurants you can go to. And hopefully you can spend your weekend by doing that. And we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Choi Ji-hee
Thank you.
and Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next week. We are News Generation.